This is Jewel Hopkins reporting live from Dr. Sabrin's office at the University of Memphis. We're going to ask you some questions first. Do you like studying outer space?
Yes, it's very exciting, it's very rewarding. It's often one of those subjects that you don't actually get to visit there, and those that do get to visit outer space bring back information for you and you can then study them. So yes, I do.
Did you work for NASA?
I didn't. I was offered my very first job at a NASA site at Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. I had to turn it down. But I then did work on NASA projects afterwards when I was at various universities, including University of Florida and now here University of Memphis. We are working on a project for NASA, and it's not actually working at a NASA center.
Question number 3. Which Mars rover did you work on?
Well, when I started a project at University of Florida, it was the Pathfinder, and then later on we contributed to the Phoenix lander. Which was back in 2007.
I was 3 that year.
Pardon me?
I was 3 that year.
I know, you were very little then. I remember you coming to visit Mummy sometimes. Yeah, it was a while ago.
What did you do for the Mars rover?
Well, what we did for the Mars rover was design for the Phoenix lander, right? So the Mars rover had some issues with dust attachment to some of their devices. So what would happen was that the dust would stick so strongly on the surfaces in such a thick layer that the surface that you actually wanted to study using telescopes and cameras, you couldn't see it anymore. So what we did with the Phoenix lander was protect the surface from the dust, so the dust wouldn't stick to it, and that way you could actually see the surface, and the information would not be lost because of the dust piling up on it. Have you ever gone outside after a rainy or dusty day and looked for your toys and they were buried under the sand or under maybe some dust or even mud, and then you had to scrape it off to find your things? Same thing. The only difference is anything that flies to outside of the Earth's atmosphere, you can't actually have scientists and astronauts following it and cleaning up the dust because it's just so far away. So you have to send things that A, won't get dusty, dust won't stick to them, or B, send a method to try and clean them up. So to Mars, people haven't actually gone there. It's all instruments and machines and robots. That's why we wanted to come up with a solution that didn't need cleaning. And so that's what we did for the Phoenix lander.
How did you make the thin film cover for the Mars rover?
Very good. What we did, actually, I think I might have some things here you can show. You know, we talked about these materials and these polymers and everything. So this is a kind of material that's on the Phoenix lander, that's on the Mars rover as well. They come in different colors. See these? Okay, they come in different colors. So that's Mars dust over there in that jar. That's Mars dust. So what happens is that when this material, which has a very, very special color, that color says a lot to the scientists. So what would happen is that dust would stick to this very, very strongly, and a thick layer would build up. So after a while, instead of seeing this nice green surface or the blue surface, you would just see dust on it. So what we did was we coated it with a thin film of gold, and in another case it was a different metal, I think it was chrome. And what would happen is that this little coating, which this is not the final finish, this is obviously scarfed and handled, but the final finish was such that dust wouldn't like to stick to it. So if dust was blown onto the surface, any kind of movement or draft is probably not the right word, but wind blowing would clean it right off and it wouldn't stay on the surface. So that's how we kept the surfaces clean. Okay? And these are actually the ones that are on the Phoenix Lander, these right here. These are actually on the Phoenix Lander. These little white
Let me get a
dots.
close-up of that, Katie. Hold it out in your hand like that.
Here you go.
There you go.
Put a couple of these on your palm.
Look at that.
These are actually on the Phoenix Lander right now.
That's
See?
pretty neat.
You want to put a ruler next to it, Mummy?
Yes.
So that we can have a scale. So see how little they are?
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Wow. So those are in outer space right now.
And I
Those
can
things
show
like that.
you a picture of it somewhere. All right, let me have a picture of it for you. And thank you. Why don't you come over on this side and I'll show you a photograph that was taken by the panoramic camera on the Phoenix Lander.
Thank you, Dr. Sabri, for taking time with me.
Well, thank you so much for wanting to learn more about what we do. We enjoyed your visit and we hope that I've managed to answer all your questions. And please come back if you've got any more questions.
That's all for today, folks.